Christine Keeler, born February the 22nd, 1942, was an English model and showgirl whose connections brought glamour and scandal. Introduced to high society by osteopath Stephen Ward, she became romantically linked with John Profumo, a married cabinet minister, and Yevgeny Ivanov, a Soviet naval attaché at the height of the Cold War. When a shooting involving another lover drew media attention, suspicions arose about potential security risks. Profumo's initial denial in Parliament collapsed when he admitted lying about the affair, igniting the Profumo affair. The scandal rocked Harold Macmillan's Conservative government in 1963, exposing cracks in the British establishment's veneer. Keeler faced harsh public scrutiny, labelled unfairly as a prostitute, though this wasn't illegal. Ward was controversially convicted as a pimp, widely seen as a scapegoat to shield the elite. The affair marked a turning point in British politics, eroding public trust in authority and reshaping societal attitudes. Now, as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. And after you've watched the video, please leave a comment, as I'm always interested to hear your thoughts. So now let's begin this week's video, the incredible story of Christine Keeler. Christine Keeler's early years were marked by hardship and resilience. Born in Uxbridge, Middlesex in 1942, her childhood was shaped by adversity. After her father Colin abandoned the family, her mother Julie raised Christine in a makeshift home crafted from two converted railway carriages in Wraysbury, Berkshire. The family's precarious living conditions led to Christine being sent to a holiday home in Littlehampton at the age of 9, malnourished and frail. This early struggle instilled a tenacity that would define her turbulent journey. At 15, eager to escape her troubled home life, Christine began working as a model in Soho, seeking freedom and opportunity. However, her path was far from smooth. At 17, she became pregnant by a US Air Force sergeant, but her baby was born prematurely and survived only a few days, leaving her grief-stricken. Determined to move forward, Christine left Wraysbury and spent some time briefly with a friend in Slough before heading to London. She worked as a waitress on Baker Street, where she met Maureen O'Connor, a performer at Murray's Cabaret Club in Soho. O'Connor introduced Christine to Percy Murray, the club's owner, who hired her as a topless showgirl. While working at Murray's, Christine met Stephen Ward, a charismatic osteopath and artist who mingled with Britain's elite. Their relationship was pivotal, yet enigmatic. In her memoir, Secrets and Lies, Keeler claimed Ward was a double agent with ties to MI5 and the KGB, adding intrigue to an already dramatic life. On the weekend of July 8th and 9th, 1961, Christine Keeler met John Profumo, the Secretary of State for War, at a pool party hosted by the 3rd Viscount Astor at his Clevedon estate in Buckinghamshire. The introduction, orchestrated by Stephen Ward, sparked a brief affair between Keeler and Profumo. The timeline of their relationship remains uncertain. Some suggest it ended as early as August 1961, when Profumo was warned about Ward's dubious circle, while others believe it faded by late 1961. Complicating matters, Keeler also claimed to have had a brief sexual relationship with Yevgeny Ivanov, a Soviet naval attaché and intelligence officer, around the same time. After the affair, Keeler's life became increasingly tumultuous. She became romantically entangled with Jamaican jazz singer Lucky Gordon and Antiguan jazz promoter Johnny Edgecombe. The rivalry between the two men erupted violently in October 1962, when Edgecombe slashed Gordon's face with a knife. The chaos escalated in December the same year. Following Keeler's breakup with Edgecombe, he arrived at Ward's Wimpole Mews residence, where Keeler was staying, and fired 5 gunshots at the building. This act of violence led to Edgecombe's arrest and marked the beginning of a media frenzy. The ensuing scandal exposed Keeler's connection to Profumo and Ivanov. raising concerns of a potential security breach during the Cold War. And although Profumo initially denied the allegations, he later admitted to the affair and resigned in disgrace. By 1963, Keeler's notoriety symbolised a government embroiled in scandal, epitomised by the Economist's stark headline, "The Prime Minister's Crisis," accompanied by a photograph, with no explanation needed. In 1963, Christine Keeler participated in a now iconic photo session with Lewis Morley amidst the Profumo affair. Shot in a studio above Peter Cook's establishment club, the session was meant to promote the Keeler affair, a film that was never released in the UK. Though hesitant to pose nude, Keeler sat astride a plywood chair resembling Arne Jacobsen's Model 3107, which concealed her modesty, and she later clarified she wasn't naked, wearing knickers throughout. The chair now resides in the Victoria and Albert Museum. On April 18, 1963, Christine Keeler was attacked at a friend's home and accused Lucky Gordon of assault, leading to his arrest and trial. Now, despite Gordon's claim that 2 witnesses could prove his innocence, police insisted they were untraceable. And on June the 7th, based mainly on Keeler's testimony, Gordon was convicted and sentenced to 3 years in prison. Meanwhile, Stephen Ward stood trial for vice charges, with Keeler as a key witness. Beginning on July the 22nd, 1963, the trial was widely seen as a politically motivated fallout from the Profumo affair. Ward was accused of living off the earnings of Keeler and Mandy Rice Davis, but his income as an osteopath far exceeded these payments. After a damning summation by the judge, Ward was convicted but died by suicide before the verdict was revealed. In Ward's final trial days, Gordon's conviction was overturned after the missing witnesses were found and testified that Keeler's claims were false. In December 1963, Keeler admitted to perjury, receiving a 9-month sentence and serving 6. While in prison, she shared a cell with Elizabeth Crowley, grandmother of future Labour MP Wes Streeting, adding another curious footnote to a life of controversy. Christine Keeler's life remained turbulent after her release from prison in 1964. She married James Edward Livermore on October the 22nd, 1965, but the union ended within a year. Her second marriage to Anthony Sidney Platt on February the 18th, 1971, also proved short-lived, with separation in 1972 and then divorce, which finalised it in 1977. She had a child from each marriage, with her mother Julie primarily raising her eldest son. Her financial struggles persisted as legal fees consumed much of the money Keeler earned from selling her story. Reflecting on her life in the 1970s, she admitted, "I was not living, I was surviving." She wrote multiple autobiographies, one controversially alleging she became pregnant by John Profumo but had an abortion. Keeler's cultural impact endured, and in 1984 the National Portrait Gallery acquired Stephen Ward's portrait of her. In 1988 she appeared in Brian Ferry's music video for Kiss and Tell, and joined Channel 4's After Dark discussion series, cementing her place as a symbol of an era. Christine Keeler passed away on December the 4th, 2017 at the age of 75, following complications from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. She was cremated at Kensal Green Cemetery on December the 16th, and despite a life marked by scandal, Keeler's story remains a poignant reflection on power, vulnerability, and public fascination with those who challenge societal norms.